So chapter 3 of Poppy Playtime dropped last week, and I'm being so honest when I say that this is one of the most fun horror games that I have ever played. I have played the other chapters, which I very much enjoyed, and my personal favorite out of the past two would have to be the classic chapter 1 with Huggy Wuggy. I don't know why, I just really like that one. I guess it's where it started everything. But yo, when I tell you chapter 3 blew all of that out of the water, everything you loved about chapter 1 and chapter 2, they had and like amplified it by 10. It was wild. And I am seriously shocked at how good this chapter was. I have played a lot of horror games. I've played almost all of the Backrooms games. I've played Outlast 2 and Outlast Trials. We could also add FNAF Security Breach on this list, which I haven't beaten yet, but I do plan to soon, hopefully. I have played a lot of indie horror games, so I am not new to this horror game world at all. And trust me when I say that almost all of the horror games I've played have been pretty fun, but a lot of them were multiplayer, obviously not all of them, but a good amount, and so it added to the enjoyment and fun, but took away from the horror element. And other than the past two Poppy Playtime chapters, which I played on my own time randomly, chapter 3 is the first solo horror game that I have actually beaten, and I am so glad I did. Now don't get me wrong, when I say this game was fun, that doesn't mean it wasn't scary. Like, it was actually horrifying, and I got scared, like, a lot. Oh, move back. Hey, boy. Hey, boy. Yo, Catnap, I'm sorry. What do you mean the door's closed? Stop. How has Catnap not come down here and absolutely torn us to shreds? Oh! Alright. Whoa! Oh! Oh! Oh, heck no. Oh! Hey, big dog! How you doing? And while on the topic of how scary this was, what I loved the most about this chapter was how much of a different type of horror it had. It didn't have the typical in-your-face horror, which I really, really liked. The horror came from most of the ambience and the sounds and everything that you would hear and think would be happening when nothing was actually happening at all. And that was so terrifying. Yeah. Why is he breathing in my right ear? And I mean this when I say this is one of the best uses of ambience and psychological horror that I've ever played. And as much as I hated it, I loved it at the same time. My anxiety levels were through the roof while playing this, and I literally made a 4-hour game 8 hours in 2 different sessions. That's wild.
You're not trying hard enough.
Do you know how high my anxiety is right now?
I don't care. Listen, take a line of coke and get back to
Yo, my stomach hurts. Like, it's queasy. It's not because I need to it's because this game is terrifying. Like, it's deep in my soul hurting me. It's playing mind games. I keep making loops and seeing this big black cat.
This is the scariest part of the game. This isn't even the scary part of the game. I'm gonna tell you that now.
I played the game for about 6 hours in one session, and then I think for another 3 to 4 hours in my second session. So it's about 10 hours of gameplay, and that's nuts because I didn't want to move and I kept pausing. I'm bad at playing horror games solo. Okay. All right. And I'm honestly really glad that I streamed this, because if I didn't, low-key, I probably wouldn't have finished it. Not because it was bad, obviously, but it was mostly because of how scary and how much I dreaded playing this game. And if you think I'm over-exaggerating and being too scared, blah, 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 that's very fair, but again, most horror games that I have played have been multiplayer, which did add an extra cushion so I wasn't as scared. Playing a solo horror game by yourself just throws you into this world, and you have to literally fend for yourself and do everything that it tells you to do. do, while also knowing that there's a monster staring at you. You can't tell me that wouldn't make you scared as well. So yeah, it was very scary, as you can tell. But the thing about Poppy Playtime is it also features a lot of puzzles. Typically, I don't like puzzles in horror games. They seem pretty useless in my opinion, but Poppy Playtime does a really great job of incorporating it into the story and gameplay, so it feels more like part of the game and not a chore, if that makes sense. And thankfully, the puzzles weren't super difficult, which made it much easier and much more enjoyable to play. Also, another thing I wanted to add is I personally don't know much about the Poppy Playtime lore at all, but this chapter did give a lot of backstory to questions that I had, like what happened when the toys went rogue, and things like that, which I really did enjoy. My last major point is how terrifying they made Catnap look. Like, his design is nuts. Out of all of the past toy monsters that I've seen throughout the past chapters, Catnap is definitely the scariest one of them all, I'm being so honest. And also what added to a scare factor was how ominous he was. You would rarely see him, and when you did, he had this wild aura and like scare factor to him. It was creepy. And to be honest, if you really think about it, him and Cardi have a lot in common. In all seriousness, this game was insanely fun and terrifying in so many different ways, and I absolutely enjoyed it, and I can't wait for Chapter 4. Who knows, the wait for this one was so long that I might be a grown man with children by the time Chapter 4 comes out.